Why Gul'dan needed Illidan's body anyway? To open a portal? No. The reason why Gul'dan needed Illidan's body is because Sargeras... Get this. Sargeras had intended to use Illidan's body as the vessel for his power, because it was believed that Illidan's body was the perfect vessel for Sargeras. Which, yeah. I should tell you something. A second avatar of Sargeras, yeah. Yeah, but not a robot. Something a little more powerful. I mean, it might be because Sargeras already knew Illidan. They met in the War of the Ancients and stuff. It didn't really, yeah, I mean, they met in the sense of, like, Sargeras spoke to Illidan through a fell portal, trying to convince Illidan to not succumb to his destiny, essentially. And Illidan was like, yo, give me that fell fire power. And so Sargeras burned out Illidan's eyes. And one of the major plot points in Legion is Zira, the Prime Naru, the Light Mother, is trying to find Illidan because he's the prophesized child of light and shadow who is meant to end the age of demons. So it's kind of like a prophetic thing, right? Like the light wanted this to happen. And you know how Illidan, you know, he's like all about free will and his destiny is his own. So when Zira tried to get Illidan in Legion, she tried to light forge him. He's like, nah, bruh, that's not going to happen. But still, Illidan did help end the age of demons, so to speak. The prophecy was fulfilled, but just by Illidan choosing his own path, not by the light making it so. So that's very important, right? Illidan is like a big... Illidan is a character which represents like free will and your own choosing. And even though it wasn't written very well, so is Sylvanas. That's why she went against the jailer in the end. There's a recurring theme of like choosing your own path, free will, and that's like the thing that is the most specific and special to mortals. Here's the deal. I don't really know how much control titanic beings have over their fucking destiny. Frankly, I don't even know how much control humans have over their own destiny. But the idea is that by not like allowing one specific like idea of destiny to dictate your life for you, it's basically about you making the choices yourself. That's why he is his scars, right? Tons of break-free metaphors and things in Dragonflight. Yeah, it's a big theme. And that's why they're bringing out the theme of the Titan Pantheon having control of things and ordering things now. That's why it's become such a big theme, is because they're trying to express to you, very overtly at this point, that the Titans are very controlling, and they've basically... It's become clear that, like, when Sylvanas said this world is a prison, it's not necessarily just metaphorical. Like, it literally is also a prison. So they're starting to just be pretty overt about that at this point, and that's honestly one of the big reasons why I've come back to the game, because that was, I mean, I think that it has been a trend actually for a long time, and as more people are playing like Classic and Season of Discovery or Classic Wrath or Classic TBC and that type of stuff, you know, people see that some of these themes have been in the game like the entire time. And that they're not just new additions that have just like magically been invented by people that like me that make videos. Like, no, they are there. Like, you just have to, like, there's a lot of stuff to have to try to look at. So it's like it's just very hard. Just very hard. So but yeah, it's a big recurring theme, and it's going to continue. I mean, it's literally happening right in front of us right now. I mean, the dream is like in stasis and unchanging. And like that directly ties to the idea of like servitude, of being bound, of being, you know, having your reality dictated for you, of things being ordered by the design of someone else. Like, it's just not how any living being should have to live. I don't know. I think that's one of the big cruxes of the Burning Legion. I like to think so, at least, is that like what they do is brutal, absolutely, but you know what? They offer you the choice. And if you say no, they will fucking destroy you. Because you cannot get in the way. And it's sort of like an illusion of choice, but at the same time, like, if you're strong enough, you survive. And the Legion kind of works on that logic of like, the strong survive. And they had battles with people like the Eldrachi, who fought like ravenous beasts back against the Legion. And in some cases, almost won. So it's not as if no one stood a chance. But the Legion is Legion. How do you beat something that is so fucking powerful and beyond your comprehension? I mean, it is culty. It is a cult. But like, those that join, a lot of them seem to be very set in like what they're doing and what they believe in. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is right, but it just means that like the Legion to an extent does kind of like, they play fair to an extent. Does that make sense? Listening to the hypothesis of how our world of Azeroth is pretty fucked right now is actually pretty cozy. Lean back in my chair with a blanket. Yeah, it's like grim, you know? It's like, yeah, we're in a lot of trouble, but I think what I've oft left out of my ideas and hypotheses and stuff like that is how it's going to work out. And I think that the key to that is Azeroth, us being her children, being like symbols of hope. And while the Titans have been able to manipulate that in their favor so far, I think that once, like, people already have faith. And I think that once the knowledge of the truth comes out, that faith will be amplified tenfold. And I don't think that the Titans will be able to stand against it. I think that's like the whole premise of this thing, is that like the mortals, when we realize what's happening, like, I think the Titans are kind of planning that it's going to be too late, but I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be... This story is basically playing out how StarCraft 2 played out. Yes, it's very similar. Yep. Considering they were both written by the same writer, we'll probably see parallels. Yeah. Yeah, let's just say that Amon, being, you know, the bad guy, and Kerrigan becoming basically a fucking flaming angel of, like, retribution and fucking hope that banishes the fucking Xel'Naga by becoming fucking Xel'Naga is, like, pretty much... I mean... And then there are the Void Lords, which are pretty much the same as the Naaru. And they're overhyped, which the Dreadlords have fully admitted to. So, any overhyping about the Dreadlords, about the Void Lords at this point is literally just the fault of the player. Because the Dreadlords, at least in their writing, if that is to be taken seriously and accurate, then they literally admit that they use the supposed influence of the Void in their reach to, you know, position them as a foil to the Titans, which literally means that they exaggerated it to scare them into so disarray. That's what they admit to doing. So the whole thing about Sargeras seeing Dreadlords on this world, and like them telling him about the old gods that he was allegedly seeing, and like that leading him to feel fear and cleave the world in half.